The subject, Marco, was it's time for the ad to sort things out.
Yeah, like I think, this morning, guys, we were discussing, it's off season, right? So what could we talk about? And we had the idea, and Coach did an amazing job putting this together. I don't think Enortap and I have seen all of this information, so we're going to be discovering it with you. We're very happy and lucky that Coach put in all the time to do all the research and pull everything up. So what we wanted to see is to really, really understand where Montreal is in comparison to other teams. We wanted to see, okay, so why don't we look at, say, the teams that were very, very close to a wild card spot last year or in a wild card spot last year? Teams that finished 7th, 8th, ninth, and 10th in each conference. And maybe we could compare how many goals per line did those teams score? What were some of the benchmarks, right? Like, what were the power play percentages? Were the goals for, the goals against, and all that? And basically, then we can kind of try to see what does Montreal need to hit in terms of goals per line, and if you break that down per player, how many goals does Montreal need to score to be in the same neighborhood as some of the teams that were competing for a wild card spot last year?
What Marco asked me to do, and I started to do it last night. I was excited to do that. It's looking about the team at 7, 8, 9, 10, and made the playoff already close. So I look about between 94 point to 88 point. As the Washington Capitals, the first line have 76 goals, 50 goals the second line, 35 goals the third line, and 14 goals. Now, I did not put the name of the players, but it would take too much time for everybody here. But I just give you an idea. The New York Canadiens had 90 goals at the first line, 61, 31, and 21. And the Detroit Red Wings, 91, 56, 44, 35. And that's the reason why 35. You have a guy called Daniel Sprong. With the Detroit, and then I put Joe Veleno on that category of 4 lines. St. Louis Blues are really balanced on the top. The second line did very well. Now, when you look about the lineup, Robert Thomas, Kiru is a first line, second line, but you have to look Chinevich and also Sad and the new rookie Neighbor scored 23 goals. That's where you get a little bit more balance on the top second line, first line. Pittsburgh 92 goal. And on that one, and I give you a little bit more goal on the third line for Pittsburgh. It's coming for Jeff Carter. It was up and down. And then we have the Minnesota Wild, 89, 70, 38, and 19. Now, if you look about the Montreal Canadiens, but they are 81. If you look about all the first line, they are only 5 goals more about the Washington Capitals. The second line, 46 goal. Third line, 34 goal. They are almost there for a line. They have 13 goals. And this was a mix of the players that come that up and down. Now, Marko said last night, you should add the defenseman. And I did very quickly the defense. The first number is the goal, and the second number is the point. The Montreal Canadiens, guys, 48 goals. They are the most goals from any other other team defenseman. I believe they are the top 3 in NHL. And 175 points, that's pretty good. When you look about the Washington Capitals, you're just shaking your head how they make the playoff. Unbelievable. When you see that. It's a finish of 37. So when you see that kind of picture, Marko and Enortap, give me a little bit more what you think about this.
Coach, this is super fascinating to see, right? And the initial feeling I get seeing these numbers is hope. With everything that went wrong with Montreal last year, I look at that first line production, and it's, again, it's lower than some of those competing teams, but it's in the ballpark, guys. Like, it's not far. It's one above St. Louis. Caulfield being a little bit of better shooting percentage, and with Slav, having a full season with that line, I think you can be in that neighborhood. The big gap for sure is the second line, right? Like, and we knew, like, it's not surprising considering they lost their second line center 2 games into the season. That's where the gap is, right? Because the third line is right there. It's matching that kind of production. It's in the same wheelhouse. And the fourth line, again, if you take Detroit out of the equation because they had Daniel Sprong there, it's not that far off, right? Like, if you get a little bit more, like, you think about some of the players they had on the fourth line, like Ylonen and Pizzetta, that just weren't really doing much last year. If you can get a little more production out of that fourth line, then I think it's not too far off from being right in the average there. So I think it's obvious, right? Enortap, like, you're looking at this, and if we can find an additional 25 goals or so on that second line, they're going to be right there.
And that's right in the wheelhouse of what Doc can do, right? It's
It's not
about
far off.
20 to 25 goals. So you're absolutely right. I mean, the only thing I would caution from all of this is, I mean, definitely the first and the second line are much greater statistical numbers to go by. The third and fourth, and Coach mentioned this, like it's harder because you have players flipping up and down, and other players coming in for injuries from respective AHL teams to fill in the spots. So it's not always that clear, but it overall I think it's a very good measure. And for me, I love the contributions from the back end. I mean, that's excellent if they can keep up that pace, and you got guys that are coming up like Hudson and Mayu and Reinbacher that I think only contribute to those numbers. You got that part working very well. Yeah, that second line for Montreal needs a little bit of a beef up, but that could be Doc.
Here we go. If you look about the Montreal Canadiens, Marko, I'm sorry if I cut you. If the first line can score 9 more goals, example, right? The second line, this is where you need to increasing 16 goals. 37 goals over the third line. They're almost there. They need the same kind of productivity of the Army of Gallagher to reach that. Line number 4, 18. That's give you guys a great projection of the goal. If you put this all together, the defenseman, I think, Marko, if they drop at 40, I think they'll be fine. And their number is 70 points, I think they'll be fine. So that gives you an idea what it takes to reach the NHL playoff.
Yeah, like I think last thing to note here too is that you can't assume that Doc's production is 100% net new, because I think Monahan had like 15 goals, I think, before he got traded too, right? So, if Doc gets you 20 goals, then that's really only 5 net new goals that you're getting. So you still have to find, so you're hoping that somebody like either Roy or like either Anderson or Gallagher can kind of move up, to kind of where they have shown in the past. Because again, you have some players, Coach, that, like, I think in this live stream a couple of days ago, we were asking the chat, how many players do you think has the potential to score 20 goals? And again, like based on last year's performance, it's hard to make a case for Gallagher and Anderson, but let's say you throw them in there and you have at least one of those guys that hits 20 goals, then you have potentially like 5 to 6 players that could be 20 goal scorers in Montreal's lineup, right? Just you're saying, Coach, like it's depth, right? It's rolling 3 lines. It's very interesting to see Detroit, like the depth that they have and the consistency that they have in their lineup. But I think the most critical thing, Coach, and I see Patrick, the White, and other people bring it up, is this is just one side of the coin, right? So you need more goals for, but what about goals against and specialty teams, right? Like, so maybe you can walk through that piece as well.
The next one, guys, about the AB benchmark stat, the goal for, the goal again, power play, PK. What I did, guys, on that one, I give it a bit more the Montreal Canadiens. They scored 232 goals last year. The average playoff team to have a good benchmark, to have a chance to make the playoff, guys, is 255. So Montreal Canadiens have to score a minimum of 23 more goals next season. Now, the goal again, guys, this is where it's a little bit complicated. And Patrick, it was right. Montreal Canadiens at 281 goal again is really low in the standing. And the average team made the playoff, they're approximately 250. That game, Montreal Canadiens, guys, minus 31 goal less. But with the young core they have, this is where I believe Montreal are going to be a problem. I don't know if you agree with me, Enortap, before we move on the next stat.
Well, we saw that just defensively as well with their defenders. When you throw 5 rookies out there at one point, of course you're going to get negative numbers. But it's not just a reflection of the defensemen. It's also a reflection of some of the forwards and coming back and helping the defense in terms of clearing the puck until they get some defensemen that can skate the puck out of their own end zone. It's not surprising, and you're right. I think that's an area that they have to improve in. I think if goaltending eventually becomes stronger, that'll be a number that helps to reduce the goals against. Put it all together, it's hard to see, and I know Washington was an anomaly last year, but it's hard to see a team with a negative differential making it into the playoffs. Eventually, you'd like to see those numbers reversed, where hopefully your goals for are around 280 and your goals against are around 230 or 240 at the most. and then that's a team that will be successful.
So the next one, guys, is about the power play. Power play Montreal Canadiens to reach the level of the team make the playoff, it's 20. Now they have a couple of teams like Islanders and the Capitals are lower, but if I look about every one of them, if you have a power play of 20%, that would increasing better chance to make the playoff, and that give them an increase of 2.5, and Saint Martin Saint Louis 13.3, 16 point something, and then they move at 17.5 last season. If you know Marko, after that, you can tell us what you think on the special team. The penalty kill for the Montreal Canadiens is 76.5. Now they have to increasing at 3% to be in the middle of 1920 and NHL standing, and to be a part is again a little bit higher, but 79.78 overall, Marko. And Montreal Canadiens go from 70, 73, and now they have a 76. So you can see an increasing every year, approximately 2% power play and 3% on the PK. Now, Marko, tell us, what do you think about those numbers?
Yeah, this is really fascinating. When it comes to goals against and the goal differential, see the one thing that people don't realize about Washington, sometimes goal differential is a little bit misleading, right? Because let's say you're in a lot of close games, but the games that you lose by a lot. You lose like 6-1. You play very close games. You win a lot of games, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. But then you lose all the games you lose by like 3-4 goals. Then in that case, your goal differential can look a little bit deceiving, right? Because yes, you're allowing more goals overall, but it's in games that you're not in at all. That I think that stat can be a bit misleading, but overall, like I think you're right. Like to me, the key in goals against, we've talked about, like I mentioned this here before, like goaltending save percentage is a bit misleading. Like save percentage, you see this again and again. Save percentage for goalies go up when teams play a good, solid defensive game and they limit high danger chances that go from one side of the ice to the other, so the goalie doesn't have to move around, right? So, and maybe, coach, that's another show that we can do in the next couple of weeks before the season starts. But is talking about, is St. Louis going to change anything in terms of his hybrid man on man, like, or is it going to work better now that the players are older and more experienced? Like, to me, that's the key, right? Is the style that they're going to play, the systems are they going to play? Are they going to be able to not allow as many goals 5-on-5 and allow their goaltenders the opportunity to make those saves? So I think this makes a lot of sense. I think we've seen it happen before, where if you look at the Canucks coach, like Rick Tocchet was able to bring that goals against way, way down. I've seen teams have a bigger improvement year over year, more than 31 goals in a year. It's not impossible for a team to improve by 31 goals in goals against in 1 year, but it's not easy, right? It's going to take a lot of effort to do that. In terms of the specialty teams, I think we saw some flashes with the power play, right? So it's just going to be great to have Doc there. I think the biggest problem with the Habs power play last year is their first unit was usually pretty good, but zero production out of their second unit, just nothing, right? Like you almost kind of gave up when you saw the second unit come on. Sometimes you're seeing Evans out there with Ylonen, and you're just like not good. So this year, now that Doc is there, now that Newhook is there, you have Roy there, you have Hudson, you have Matheson, and we'll see who else kind of makes the team on D. But I think they'll have a better second unit, which in theory should give you a little bit more production, because sometimes you just get caught. You're not able to put your first unit out because they were just on the ice or something like that. You need some production from your second unit. And Montreal just had nothing from their second unit last year. Just having a good second unit, you could easily see an additional 5 goals on the power play there, just by itself. And then I think St. Louis has talked about this a lot. The key thing about a power play, guys, if you look at Toronto, you look at Boston, you look at the teams that have good power plays, Tampa Bay, they're players that have played together a long time. It's all about creating familiarity with each other, right? Like it's one of those instinctive things. You have to know where your teammate is. So we're in year 3, right? Like Caulfield and Suzuki have been playing together a while. Slav has been there a while. Say what you want about Matheson, but if Hudson doesn't play there, then that's another year with him being on there, and Doc and Newhook. So I think more time, more familiarity should allow for more consistency. And then again, with a second unit, I think they can definitely improve. and they definitely need to improve the penalty killing. To me, they say that coaches, the two things that, like, 5-on-5 play is very hard to control, right? But coaches can directly impact special. Martin St. Louis needs to find a way to improve the penalty kill, improve the power play. It's the one place where a coach can directly have an impact and have a positive impact for the team.
I think also Marko, once he has the personnel to have that second line power play, it'll help tremendously. I think that's what you were kind of alluding to, because you really can't keep that first power play unit on as long as they did this year. I think the second unit would average maybe 20 seconds at best. They should be getting a little bit more than that in order to make the first group more effective. And the other thing is, as you get more skilled players coming in, like let's say a Hudson and Demidov, now these guys, there's a difference between staying on the ice, even if you stay on the entire 2 minutes. But these players have skill. They're not spending themselves on trying to get the puck and fighting the puck all the time. They're dictating the play and tiring out the defense in order to get that good shot on net that will produce the goal. So I think these are all things that are in the pipeline, and it will help immensely when they are here.
Awesome. I'm going to move on to the last part of this exercise tonight. It's more about what the Montreal Canadiens did last year. Marko asked me to do that. Last season, again, the Atlantic Division. The record, guys, was 5 only W, 13 loss, a 7 tie game. They scored only 72 goals, and they gave 106 goals. They shot 72 times on the net, and they got outshot 870 times. So that gave you 168 more shots. Now I checked the power play. PK was not like a big number to give you as France. The Toronto 0-1, Florida Panthers 1-1, Tampa Bay 0-3-1, Detroit 1-0-2, Ottawa 0-1, and then Buffalo are 2-0, and the Boston is at 1-1. So you can see, guys, they never beat Toronto and Tampa Bay and Ottawa, and they never lost against Detroit Red Wings. I'll give you a summary of what happening. On total of 50 points, honestly, they get only 17 points. So it's approximately 385% winning percentage.
That's the ball game right there, guys. Like, that is shocking, right? Like, if you're wondering why Montreal didn't make the playoffs or weren't even close, these are points, like, you have to find a way. At the very least, guys, like, if you're not going to have a winning record against Toronto, Florida, and Tampa, arguably, like, they're maybe going to be the top 3. You're going to have winning records against teams like Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo, and Boston in order to be competitive. You just have to, and real deal, just saying, like, not a bad record against the Sabres last year for Montreal. Ultimately, to me, guys, this is, I think, I'm very glad Coach put this together, because I think it's an important thing for us to, when we're analyzing how the season is going to be going next year, this is what we need to be looking at, right? Like, those games are so big against the Atlantic Division, guys. Like, it's going to be so important.
Yeah, so to make the playoff, Montreal Canadiens have to target 93 points. Usually that was the benchmark. You can go sometime 92, 91, but it was an exception last season. So Montreal Canadiens, to get there, guys, is 17 points. All the stuff we just showed to you guys, from the line goal, and then the goal again, power play, special team, and again, Atlantic. Guys, to jumping and tell me you're going to make the playoff this year, for me, it's almost impossible. Honestly, everything is possible, but I don't see Montreal can get there. And that will give you a little bit, Marko and Enortap, what it would take for Montreal to become that kind of team to reach that level. It would be great to do, again, the same exercise, Marko, next season, at the same time, like in August, to see those numbers versus what they got this year versus last season, if we have some kind of improvement.
Yeah. Great work, Coach. Really appreciate you putting this together. It's going to be hard, but here's a question for you guys. I'll flip it on you, Coach, because I know you've been looking at the chat, but I want you to kind of voice your opinion on this. Like, so obviously there's a huge challenge for Montreal. They have to score more goals and they have to allow less goals. Which one of those two things do you think will be the hardest for Montreal to do? Score more goals or allow less goals?
It's to diminish the goal again. That would be my biggest problem for Montreal Canadiens, because you're jumping about 30 goals, right? But if you think about what they still have a young team. They still have no defenseman established yet. And then we go with 2 goaltender, where you don't know yet what they will look like. I think that would be the direction where I feel like they will be missing the target on that one. I wouldn't be surprised that I think Sikorsky can get more goal. I think Suzuki can reach the same number. Caulfield can increase in number to goal. Kirby Dack start with 0, so every goal he put, additional about that. I think it could join those kind of 15 goals. And now it's to see now the rest at the bottom 6. Can Armia get the 17? Get Gallagher get the 16? And then the rest, it's not big number. Evans 7, I believe. Anderson 8 or 9. Devarek was at 4 or 5. This is reasonable. It's honestly increasing number of power play. Second line, if you think about a little bit more what they need to become better, is diminish your goal again because the experience they have, and then they have to add more goal from the second line. This is a 2 area, I believe, is the biggest problem for the upcoming season for Montreal Canadiens.
For anybody who watches this on replay, let us know down below if you think Montreal is going to be having problems keeping more goals out or being able to score more goals. Let us know in the comments what you think and how many goals Montreal will score next year. Thanks everybody in the live stream for following tonight. It was a great show, and look forward to the next one as usual.
Thank you to watching another Habs Nation video. But before we leave, we invite you, don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the channel, and finally let us a comment about this video. And remember, you have greatness inside of you, and we wishes you an amazing, great, and blessing day.